Hi guys, today I'm going to be answering an online quiz with you. It won't take long, it will just take less than 5 minutes. So let's go. The first question says, if you could describe yourself as a hashtag, what could it be and why? Well, that one is, I think the hashtag would be bridging, policy, and action. Bridging policy and action. You know, where there's a policy, being a science student, being a political science student, where there's a policy, there is need for quick action to take that policy into action. So the hashtag would be hashtag bridging policy and action. So let's go to the second question, which says, what's one thing about you? What's one thing about you that would surprise people at first glance? Well, the first thing about me that would surprise people at the first glance is I might look quiet, but surprisingly, I talk too much, especially where there is need for something, that where there is need for something to be done. Justice, talk about that. Policies, talk about that. Decision making, civil matters, that's my mouth not shutting up. My mouth is always they're loud. Surprisingly, I might look so quiet, but I just can't keep my mouth shut whenever it comes to policies and civil matters. So let's go to the third question quickly. The third question says that if you had to represent YLDM, which is Yada, on a world stage for 1 minute, what key message would you share? Wow. Representing Yada for 1 minute on a big stage where everyone, that privilege, that opportunity need to be used wisely. So, the message will be very quick. In just 1 minute, I would just want to tell the world to say, Africa, we need youth who can lead, who can take position, who can speak up and build a better society as African youth. That would be my first thing. I don't know if it makes sense to you, but I think youth should start taking participation in civil matters. We are not the future leaders. We are the leaders of today. So let's go to the fourth question, which says, which African leader or change maker, past or present, inspires you the most and why? Well, that's quite tricky, but I like it because one of the past leader who inspires me a lot is Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah had this vision of uniting African continent as one, not different countries, but he had this vision of uniting Africa as one nation. And I think I just like that, and I really get inspired because yes, we might have different countries in African continent, but we share the same similarly cultures, and that's why I think the idea of him making Africa as one nation is the best. It's a great idea, and that's the person who inspires me the most. Past, of course, but what inspires me. Let's go to the fifth question, which says, imagine Yada as a movie. What would it be called, and why, and what role would you play? Wow. I think I would name that movie, I would give the title of the movie as The Spark. Yeah. I don't know why that, but I think The Spark is the best title of the movie that I can give. And my role in that movie would be the connector. I would just connect other youths who are young leaders with visions like myself together. Bringing those brilliant ideas together can make a huge change for Africa. So that will be the title of the movie, and that will be my role. Let's move to the sixth question so quickly. What unique contribution do you believe you can bring to your P&C? Well, that is people and culture. Something that I would look at is fairness. I would deal with fairness because everything that you have to do, that does be fairness. That fairness should start with the way we recruit people, how we employ people. That fairness in me should just be something that should be unique. I would rather put a person with good quality rather than just putting a person because they're famous and all that. Fairness is the first thing. And if there is something that I've just missed, I think justice. Yeah. So now let's move to the 7th question, which says, what is one major challenges you believe is facing Yada today, and how would you help to address it through your position? The challenge is just the recruitment, as I said. I think some of the challenges that they're facing is how they recruit people. Not, their recruitment adverts are not widely shared to other continent, Africa at large. So I think I would work on that position. I think that's where the leakage is, or that's where they're lacking behind. Let's go to the 80th question quickly. Social media is a huge asset for Yada these days. What would you like Yada to post more of, and how should Yada develop its TikTok so it can go viral? Well, the first thing I would look at is content focus. Our content these days, people have a lot of things to do. So if Yada's content are too long, I think I would work on how we make those content, how we create those content. And I would love the content to be short so that everybody can have their time to listen to them. People these days are very busy. So let's go to the 9th question, which says that if you were leading your department, how do you recruit? How would you recruit, motivate, and engage volunteers across Africa? Wow. Finish first. Motivation. If there's something that can make a person work for, even those people get paid, even if you're not a volunteer, motivation is something that you have to look into. When we motivate these people who are volunteering, it makes them feel to say they're also valued. They don't feel useless. And then they'll keep on working hard, and they'll keep the same vibe they started with. So I would deal with definitely with my department. If I'm going to be leading that department, I'll ensure that we work on motivating those people. We work on motivating the volunteers from many ways. Last question, which says, in one sentence, define your vision for Yada's impact over the next 2 years. Yeah. So I think my vision for Yada in the next 2 years, I think this organization is not just an organization that should be just held in one country. It should be held worldwide, and I will work with them so that their vision to helping the youths of Africa is definitely put on the map. And thank you very much for staying with me, even if the quiz was very long. Have a nice day. Bye bye. I love you.